live in high definition. This is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4's Wake Up.
If you threaten America, you will find no safe haven.
Right now on Wake Up, President Obama calls for greater involvement in the Middle East. Will the American people agree?
Michelle and I were running for our lives. My brother James was losing his.
13 years later, we remember all those who died and were forever changed on 9/11.
New York says it'll pitch in for a new Bills stadium. But does Governor Cuomo think the team needs one?
The two people who were caught in this raging flood share the story of how they escaped just in time.
Good morning to you, 6 o'clock. Waking up to some rain, some wind out there.
Yeah, not very pleasant when you step outside, at least right now. It could be worse, though.
It could be worse.
Morning, back to you.
We are taking you live now on Wake Up to Ground Zero in New York City, where 13 years ago today, one of the worst tragedies in our nation's history happened. 9/11, a day that still seems surreal, but will live on in infamy.
All across the country, Americans will stop and remember the people who died that day. This right now is a live look at the Buffalo chapter of the Red Cross. This is the scene every 9/11 anniversary. Each American flag you see here represents a victim of the attacks, 2,977 in total.
The anniversary of 9/11 comes as President Obama and the rest of the nation tries to figure out how to deal with the growing threat of Islamic militants overseas. The president laid out his plan last night in a speech talking about how to take down ISIS.
It calls for expanded U.S. airstrikes, but will not put any American troops on the ground.
In a 14-minute address, President Barack Obama laid out a four-part strategy to degrade and destroy ISIS, pledging to be the president's promise of a broad international coalition.
And it doesn't matter how many years go by, this day will always live in our hearts and our minds.
The attacks on 9/11 touched every corner of our country. One of Western New York's connections to the attacks, Father Michael Judge. The chaplain of the New York City Fire Department graduated from St. Bonaventure University. He gave last rites at Ground Zero until he died when the second tower collapsed. He is one of the almost 3,000 victims who we remember today. News 4's Brittany Smallwood joins us live at a memorial at the Buffalo Red Cross. Good morning.
Good morning, Jordan. Even though 13 years have passed, many people still remember where they were when the September 11th attacks took place. And today we stop to remember those that lost their lives that fateful day. And here at the Red Cross in Buffalo stands all these. And coming up in the next half hour, we're going to speak with Jay Bonafide. He's the spokesman for the Red Cross to talk about this moving tribute and the Western New Yorkers affected. Reporting live, Brittany Smallwood, News 4.
Thank you, Brittany. And the Iraq and Afghanistan Memorial will be dedicated at the Buffalo Naval and Military Park this Saturday. A special ceremony scheduled today at the monument at 8:46, the minute the first plane struck the World Trade Center.
A wreath will also be placed at the Veterans Monument during a ceremony this afternoon at Cheektowaga Town Park. That is happening at 5 o'clock.
Police officers from Buffalo across the country paid their final respects to one of their own. Thousands of officers you see right here filled the Blue Cross Arena in downtown Rochester. This was yesterday for Officer Daryl Pearson's funeral. He's the first Rochester officer to die on the job in more than 50 years. Pearson's widow, Amy, thanked Rochester police for their support through this tragedy. Wow, look at these pictures. She also praised the officers' wives.
I also became aware of the sisterhood among the wives. I could spot them coming down the line. They all had the same look, a look of pride, of empathy, and of the awareness that it could have been any one of our husbands.
Pearson was an 8-year veteran on the force. He leaves behind his widow and 2 young children.
The time 6:06. This is new on Wake Up. We are working to find out more about what police are calling an accidental shooting in North Tonawanda. Police say a 37-year-old man was shot in the leg by his friend at a home. You see it here next to Betty's Bar and Grill. This is in the 200 block of Main in NT. Police arrested Leslie Maziarz for assault. The victim is recovering at ECMC. A Buffalo man recovering for what police say looks like a serious gunshot wound. Police say the shooting happened just before 5 last night in the 300 block of Weston Avenue. Detectives say the victim is in his late teens or early 20s. If you know anything, Call that number on your screen, the confidential tip line, 847-2255.
Still a lot of big questions this morning about whether the Bills really need a new stadium. So far, the Bakulas aren't saying what they are thinking. Workers, of course, just finished that $130 million in renovations at the Ralph. We talked to Governor Cuomo about what he thinks about having the state pitch in for a new stadium. Well, he told us he does not seem to think a new stadium is needed. The cost of building a stadium usually shared by the NFL, the team owners, and the state and the county. Governor Cuomo praised the Bakulas' commitment to Western New York, but listen what he said when we asked him if he's willing to pitch in to fund a new stadium.
Do you think the Bills need a new stadium?
You know, maybe I have a vested interest because I have kind of tight pockets I've been accused of, but I think this stadium with the renovations is working very well.
In August, there were reports a group of consultants had narrowed down a list of 4 potential sites for a new stadium. A member of the new stadium working group says whoever bought the team would have a say in the stadium's location. So it seems like it's up to the Bagulas to make a decision.
And certainly no doubt the Bills are the hottest ticket in town right now, and you're going to have to pay up if you want to be at this weekend's home opener. Tickets are sold out for the game against the Dolphins, except for club seats. Now, we checked on StubHub. The cheapest seat is close to $170 now, and that is in the $300 level.
They're expensive, you know, costs a lot of money to go, but I'd like to. Yeah, it would be nice.
And then I think if you just go out anywhere in Western New York right now, or you look at Twitter accounts, you look at all the media coverage and what it's about excitement about the Buffalo Bills. And obviously we're thrilled with that as an organization.
The team will hold several pregame tributes to Ralph Wilson before Sunday's game. If you can't score a ticket, you can catch the game right here on Channel 4 at 1 o'clock.
And while Buffalo celebrates, things look a little different to our north. Terry Pegula's winning bid means Toronto won't see an NFL team anytime soon. This Canadian writer seems bitter. Bruce Author wrote in the Toronto Sun, this is what he said. Between the winters, the economy, they know suffering in that town. Buffalo is a Rust Belt town, and that means hope dying like the sun in winter. If that wasn't enough to get your blood boiling a little bit this morning, you can read the rest for yourself on our homepage, WIVB.com. On a brighter note, you can check out all of our coverage of Terry Pegula's winning bid of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that might be more appealing to look at.
Yeah, I think so.
6:09 this morning. We're going to show you a video a lot of people are talking about this morning. They say it shows police getting too rough with a college student while making an arrest.
Then from rehab to the hospital, Toronto's Mayor Rob Ford's struggles continue. He's in a new battle this morning. Also,
deep down, I thought I may never see her again.
Trapped in this van, quickly flowing over the edge. 2 survivors share their story of their dramatic escape.
At 6:30, how much did the NFL really know about the Ray Rice domestic violence incident? As new details come out, more pressure piles up to fire the commissioner.